What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Motorfest. So in this video, I do want to go over like a use this vehicle to max this class out. I figured the motocross one was honestly really good, and or like the drift one back in the day with the lovely Mitsubishi Evolution X. So I may end up doing more of these videos in the future, guys. So do let me know in the comments below which class you would like me to take a look at if you are looking to max them out, and or like an all-around vehicle you can basically run the entire time when going after the parts that you actually want. So in this video, guys, I will be looking at the Demolition Derby class, and unfortunately I do not have a Nitro Chemist for this class yet because, well, I am currently missing one Nitro Chemist part to have a full Nitro Chemist set for the Demolition Derby class, but we all know how the RNG actually is, so I'm obviously struggling trying to get that. Now, some people may argue, yes, having a full Loot Digger obviously helps, but I'm also missing one of the full Loot Digger parts here to actually get more parts from these set events, so the entire thing is basically going to be based on what it wants to give me first. But nonetheless, guys, there is going to be 7 Demolition Derby cars in Motorfest, so you are most likely wondering, well, what is the best car I can run, and or like the best all-arounder I can actually use to get my vehicles maxed out. So my favorite vehicle back on the Crew 2 was indeed the Fender Frontera. By the way, guys, I want to mention I will be going over my best cars in each class once again, so definitely stay tuned for those. Now, we also have the crazy looking Fender Vero, and or the Fender Forenzi, I think that's how you say that, but a lot of these cars are obviously going to be very similar with their overall top speed, and or like the way they actually accelerate, so it's more a fact of going to come down to which car you actually like, and or which car you can most likely tolerate for hours on end when going after the part sets. So the car I have been running the entire time in the Demolition Derby class is going to be the Fender Rattlesnake. Funnily enough, guys, I really never ran this car back in the Crew 2, so it really was kind of shocking to me when I did start running it on this game, but I really have to admit, guys, running this vehicle so far, going after all of the parts I do have, I really am having a great time running this vehicle. Like, it does handle great. Do keep in mind, though, I am currently not running any settings on this vehicle either, so I would say in a good way it's also going to be a great all-around car you don't also have to mess with, compared to some of the other vehicles in this game where you really have to like mess around with their settings just to make them actually turn decently and or, you know, be a good car for that matter. But I've also been running the Rattlesnake in many different races to really see what this car can actually do, and I have to admit, guys, it really is going to surprise me because it does seem to be great, not only with like the way that it does handle, even having base pro settings on it, but also like the overall speed with it. Now, obviously, the Demolition Derby cars are not quick, so they aren't going to be like as fast as like a Tier 1 and or like a Tier 2 street car, but with the Demolition Derby cars handling a tad differently because, well, it's going to be like a crazy looking car you would most likely crash into other cars with, you know, hence the demolition part of the... Regardless, though, I would probably say a Demolition Derby car is not going to be as good as some of the other classes, so that is definitely going to be something I did notice with the Derby class when running this one for hours, and or going after like the Chemist set, which I still do not have, but I will then jump back into some of those races here soon to hopefully get that. It really is insane, guys, how you're basically missing one part, and for some odd reason, no matter what you actually do and or hours of actually grinding, they do not drop whatsoever. So who knows, maybe there's actually like a bug and or like a weird design flaw going on that could actually be fixed in the future, but who knows when that's actually going to happen. I also have to admit, guys, I really do feel like many people are most likely going to max out the Demolition Derby class, at least for the summits, and or to have them ready for when they actually do show up in a summit. I would say most people are probably never going to run these cars after actually getting them maxed out. Myself most likely included, besides testing out some part sets with them or like going through different things with the cars to really see which ones are better or like maybe which ones have better settings and stuff like that. But once you actually have like a maxed out set for that said vehicle class, like a Demolition Derby, even like a motocross class, most players are probably not going to use them as often. Overall, though, guys, I would definitely recommend using the Fender Rattlesnake if you are looking to max this class out, and I do know you're most likely going to be running this class for hours on end, so overall, though, guys, I do recommend using the Fender Rattlesnake. Like, this car is going to be a great all-arounder. You don't have to mess with the pro settings on it either, so I really do see that being like a big plus. And I have to admit, guys, running this car for hours on end, it really does seem to be a great car, not only for like grinding, but possibly for summits.